for?
It's their time. A night to remember.
The following program is recommended for those 16 and over, as it contains sporting violence, possible bad language, and flashing imagery.
Folks, we are back in beautiful Orlando, Florida, at the most pristine resort you can find, the Caribe Royale for Most Valuable Prospects number 10, the best and brightest stars in the sport of boxing, putting their talents on display. And folks, it is going to be a great night of fights you do not want to miss, with the returning champions of commentary in the building. Myself, Wade Flemons, Dan Canobio, and the legend himself, Nonito Donaire. Boys, we have not only a special event here in our 10th edition of Most Valuable Prospects, but a special edition in the main event. An interim world title on the line tonight between Antonio Vargas and Winston Guerrero. The bantamweight interim world title on the line with the WBA. Dan, talk to me about Antonio Vargas.
Antonio Vargas is on the precipice of something big. He wants to get what you had, a world title, and if he wins tonight, he gets an interim shot. But that puts him in line for a big-time matchup in Japan against Saya Tsutsumi, who upset Takumi Inoue, brother of Naiwa Inoue. But he can't look past Winston Guerrero. Winston Guerrero is a tough fighter, but what I see in Antonio Vargas is someone that gets off to slow starts. In his last fight, he hit the canvas in this very room. He got up to get the win, to get this interim shot, but tonight he cannot overlook Winston Guerrero, Nonito.
Hey, Winston Guerrero, you know, the guys from Nicaragua, they're great fighters, you know, Chocolatito, Alexis Arguello, all these guys, you know, and it's incredible because for them, this is an opportunity for him. He wants to keep that zero. He's going to fight hard, and I believe he's going to fight hard.
Someone is going to change their career tonight, not just in our main event, but in our entire card. But before we get there, let's send it to two other members of our team. Sibley Scholes is standing by with Coach Larry Wade.
Ooh, that's right. Thank you so much, guys. We are here. Coach, can you believe Prospects number 10 is about to go down right here at the Caribe Royale in Orlando?
And it's about to be an amazing fight. You guys are really in for a treat. You got two guys that have everything on the line. They realize that this is their opportunity. For someone, that life is going to change after this.
Absolutely. You got Guerrero, 22-0. That's a great record right there. A lot of knockouts, 23 knockouts between the two of those fighters. What do we think we're going to see happening in that ring tonight?
I think you're going to see a crafty and experienced Vargas, who came here for one reason. He's an Olympian for a reason. So you're going to see a lot of that experience, but you also see a guy that has something to prove. He has such a great amateur career. He needs to say something tonight.
So you're telling the people at home it's about to go down.
It's about to go down. You don't want to miss this.
Absolutely. I'll be in the ring taking all these interviews with all the guys afterwards, with all the winners tonight right here, Orlando, Caribe Royale. We'll see ya.
They're absolutely right. It is about to go down. A stacked card for the 10th Most Valuable Prospect Series. Once again, we are headlining this card with the WBA Interim World Championship at bantamweight between Antonio Vargas and Winston Guerrero. Our co-main event features the Phenom, Javon Walton, taking on Eric Hanley. And in our next fight on the main card, we have a WBA Continental U.S. Heavyweight title match between Denier Pero and Walter Burns. And to kick off our main card is a middleweight matchup between Tamara Tebow and Natasha Spence. And on our preliminary card, we have more belts. Almost like our pants can't fit, we got so many belts on the card. A WBA U.S. Continental Super Welterweight title is headlining that between Giovanni Estella and Joxen Blanco. A heavyweight matchup between Gergen, Big Goog, Hovanesian, and Patrick Magic Mailata. A super lightweight bout kicks off our night between Hendry Cedeño and Luis Hernandez Ramos. And that tail of the tape between Cedeño and Ramos. Ramos 28 years old, Cedeño 26 years old. A little bit difference in weight and reach, but all settled in our first bout of the night. 8 rounds at super lightweight. Let's head into the ring. And Dasha Corrett is standing by.
Making his way to the red corner from Chihuahua, Mexico, Luis El Matador Hernandez Ramos.
Ramos making his way into the ring. First fight of the night here on our prelim card. 29th ring walk of his career. Has double the experience of Cedeno. 122 rounds fought. A veteran of the ring. Look at that record. He's got a lot in there. 23-5, 20 knockouts. Very tough competitor.
Heavy hands.
Love that.
And making his way to the blue corner from La Romana, República Dominicana, Henry La Bazooka Cedeno.
And he'll be taking on Henry Cedeno. Gentlemen, every time we have Henry here at the Caribe, he is a superstar. People just light up when he walks into the room. The energy, you can see it. He's shaking those hips. He's going to look to do the same in the ring tonight. He's a superstar in the making, Dan.
He's got that it factor that you look for. He also has heavy hands. His last fight was a 5th round stoppage right here inside the Caribe Royale over Enrico Gogokia. And he looks to put an exclamation point on 2024 with another stoppage win.
This opening bout is set for 8 rounds in the super lightweight division, and it is brought to you by Celsius Live Fit Essential Energy. Introducing first, fighting to my left in the right corner, wearing black and gold trunks with an official weigh-in of 146.6 pounds and a record of 23 wins, 5 losses, 0 draws, and 20 of those victories by knockout. From Chihuahua, Mexico, Luis El Matador Hernandez Ramos. And fighting to my right in the blue corner, wearing blue, white, and red, with an official weigh-in of 142 pounds and a record undefeated of 14 victories, no losses, no draws, and 11 of those victories by knockout. From La Romana, República Dominicana, Henry La Bazooka Cedeno. Your judges for this bout are Alexander Levin, James Jed O'Connor, and Rodolfo Aguilar. Your referee is Massimo Montanini.
Hey! Forget about it. That's it. Here we go, guys. Tenemos que respetar la liga en él, okay? Touch him up. Thanks. Thank you. Thank you.
Here we go, folks. 8 rounds in the super lightweight division. Henry Cedeno versus Luis Hernandez Ramos. Set to open up this stacked Most Valuable Prospects number 10 event. Boys, you ready?
Oh yeah. I'm ready. Let's go.
Back in the saddle. Once again, round 1. Here we go. What we've seen from Henry Cedeno every time we've had him here at the Caribe is he likes to start fast. He's going to get on that front foot quickly, and he looks to do it right now, Flash.
That's right. You know, he's using that jab to the body, jab to the head. But, you know, sometimes you got to be wary because guys like the guy, you know, Ramos, excuse me, he can crack.
20 knockouts in his 23 wins. And, Dan, we were here. La Bazooka had a tough matchup last time around with Gogokia and finished that fight.
He did. It was a nice finish, and that's what we want to see out of our prospects here. Cedeno is inching up through the ranks at 140. Big, tall,
Nice.
40-pounder.
Body shots there from Cedeno. Look at that.
He's got the range down. Flash. He's in the pocket right now, and he's starting to let those hands go a little more here.
Right. What I like to see with Cedeno is a little bit of feint, so that way his opponent Ramos can't fight with him at the same time or punch with him at the same time.
What you are seeing so far, Flash, is a variety of punches from Cedeno. Look at that counter, left hook, and then the right hand slides out. He's going to the body. He's going upstairs. Again, we've seen him under these lights. There's almost zero anxiety, zero fatigue. He looks to get started right away.
You know, we've seen his hands down, and we've seen his hands up this time more. And, you know, he's coming in and out. I mean, he's doing really well with not only his punch selections, but his distance has been amazing.
I'll tell you what, Dan Canobio, he's been deadly accurate so far.
Yeah, he's landed. And he's early and often. It's tough being the first fight of the night. It's tough being in an 8-rounder because you really can't give away rounds. You have to get in there and let your hands go. But Cedeno has been active early.
Super comfortable offensively and defensively so far. Sliding in and out of range. That's a nice hook there from Ramos. Matador trying to throw the right hand. It's not there as Amazuka just slides away. Look at that.
I feel like he's a bull on this fight.
Yeah, no, absolutely. He's coming forward, looking for it, but again, oh, nice right hand there.
Right. Good double jab as well, coming back. See, he's protecting himself after having to throw those big shots with a terrific jabs, actually.
It's almost an immaculate round. He got everything he needed to do in this first round. He got his distance, threw some great hooks. He landed some jabs. He got out of trouble.
Look at that head movement once again from Cedeno. He's been active early and often, and then to top it off, big shots like that on the end of combinations, and then slides out. Great defensive work and a great first round here for Hendry Cedeno.
There's not too many immaculate rounds in the history of boxing. Think of one. Roy Jones, Vinny Pazienza. Roy Jones did not get hit with a single shot in 3 minutes.
You know what I like about
Huge right hand there from Cedeno. My goodness, what an end of the round. Go ahead and finish your thought, Nonito.
No, I'm very impressed with Cedeno's not only his offense going up and down, punch selections and distance, but he's actually learning more of the defensive tactic. You know, when he throws his punches, he's defensively protecting himself.
He's in there with a guy that's a puncher. I mean, 20 knockouts in your 23 wins, and he is calm, cool as a cucumber right now, Dan Canobio.
Yeah.
I don't think I've ever seen that kind of first round performance.
Not respecting the power.
Double jab and the double body shots. I mean, he's mixing it up top and bottom. And again, his defense, you know, you don't really see Cedeno. You see his hands down like that. But the way he's coming in, and I guess, you know, from my perspective, is the guy can hit too. So, you know, he has his hands up. But I'm very, very, very impressed with him being very disciplined in that way.
And on the other side, you have Ramos who, you know, let's be honest, in that first round, a bit overwhelmed with some of the punches. Obviously, look to get some of those back. As we get into round two here, Nonito, what do you do differently if you are Ramos?
Be a bull. Come out there. Woo! All right, good uppercut, straight right hand.
Great combinations to start here once again from Hendry Cedeno. We talked about it. You know, he gets started early and he gets going off, and I don't see this slowing down anytime soon, Dan.
I like what he's doing. He's moving around in there, too. He's not a stationary target, which makes it even harder.
Beautiful head movement.
He's definitely keeping up with that distance, but because of that jabs, he's just poking him with the jab to the body, to the head. You know, he has it in control, and by doing so, he's able to keep his distance.
Nice left hook there from Ramos.
Ramos gets on the board.
Big shot that lands clean. Now he looks to come forward and capitalize, but when he does, counter shots come out from Hendry Cedeno.
You know, guys like Ramos, they got those
beautiful,
tough. They can take punches.
We are fighting in a phone booth right now, gentlemen. Something big about to happen. Nice left hook, Cedeno.
That's what I noticed right away from Cedeno is he's in the pocket. He's got
nice left hook again.
Away. They're banging right now.
He has to be careful because Ramos is also a heavy-handed fighter.
To the body again, the lead hand of Cedeno doing real damage in this second round. Overhand right lands as well.
It looks like it is that Cedeno's getting the better of these combinations.
Cedeno's corner is telling him to calm down and relax a little bit.
And that's sometimes maybe the bait there for Ramos. Okay, stand in the pocket with me. Let's trade back and forth. It maybe is better chance of landing and scoring effectively, so you can't get drawn into that if you are Cedeno.
especially Cedeno. Cedeno is a beautiful boxer. He can box really well. He has great.
Oh, big right hand.
That was a good big right hand from Cedeno and a beautiful jab at that.
Yeah, Ramos wants a firefight. He wants to stand in trade. He wants to be able to land his shot.
Another big right hand, Cedeno. Hernandez Ramos is eating punches right now, ladies and gentlemen. Standing in the pocket still. What a chin on Ramos, but Cedeno landing clean, hard punches throughout the first and now the second round.
Just got to watch out and keep his defense after he punches, because Ramos punches with him. And again, you can't be wary. He has to be wary that Ramos can punch as well.
Stiff jabs here from Henry Cedeno. And again, just flashing all the skills, Dan. The hooks, the right hands, the jab, the defense, all on display tonight.
Been beautiful so far. Got closing in on 6 minutes of action, all but controlled by Cedeno outside of one nice shot from Ramos, but you got to land a lot more if you're Ramos to get back into this fight.
Beautiful jab by Cedeno.
And Flash, you're seeing the head movement too. You're seeing the setups. You're seeing the feints of the body, then upstairs. How much does that impress you for a guy that's still only in his 15th fight?
Very, very impressive. You can see a very, very skillful fighter. You know, not only that, but he thinks. You know, not only that he thinks in there, but he knows how to get rough. He knows how to use a distance. I mean, he's an overall fighter, and a lot of fighters is either a boxer or a brawler, but you can see in this fight, he's actually doing both.
Who would you rather have? Would you rather try to make a boxer bite down on the mouthpiece sometimes, Nonito, or would you rather have a guy that's ready to be tough and rumble in there, but you can pull him back a bit?
Why not? If he has the skill for it, I prefer a guy who's smarter. You know, I know the guys I knock out is the guys that don't see my punches, and by doing so, you set it all up with the jab, and that's what Cedeno is doing. You know, it's just that he feels that. Oh, there goes ice everywhere.
We just had a massive malfunction in Cedeno's corner. Ice all over the place. Oh, we got the. Oh no. We got. It's it's a winter wonderland here in the blue corner, folks. As ice goes flying, it looks like we might have to take some time and clean it up. I don't think that they're gonna.
Oh,
okay.
I guess they're going through.
Stay away from the corner, the blue corner.
Stay away. I mean, drop one of those in my Celsius Live Fit Essential Energy. It's a bit cold tonight, you know what I mean?
You usually drink them in the glass bottle. Tonight you're going with the traditional.
This is exactly what I was talking about. I prefer this kind of style, pulling in his opponent and being able to counter after that, because punches that you don't see is punches that will hurt you tremendously.
What you are seeing, Flash, is again, right from the rip, we start this round, and both guys in the phone booth ready to lay down some leather. Nice left hook there from Cedeno. Slips inside the jab and the left hook, and then gets out of range there.
Yeah, I think Cedeno made a conscious effort in this fight to kind of stand and trade more. Because in the past, we've seen him box. Yep, we've seen him move around. So he obviously worked on something in training. You know, and worked something on camp is to do what we're seeing right now.
Well, gentlemen, you know, it's us three here at the table, but we do have a fourth member of our team, Coach Larry Wade, with a couple of notes here for the red corner and Ramos.
Right now, Ramos is getting outgunned. If I'm Ramos, at this point, I'm adding pressure, roughing it up for him. Hendry's having too much time to pick him aside when he wants to throw punches. Rough him up, push him against the rope. That's his best chance at this point.
And right on cue there from Coach Wade, you see Luis Ramos starting to push the pressure here and the pace, and back Henry Cedeno into the ropes and into the red corner.
Yeah, definitely agree with what Larry just said. You're Ramos. You're the veteran. Like, you're the rough and tumble type of fighter. This is where you want to be. Push him against the ropes. Fire off some shots.
If you have the gas tank for that, it's an effective strategy, Nonito, and he's having some success here in the third round.
Yeah. One thing that the bazooka is being worried about is because everything that he hits and punch and lands, the guy just eats it. And that has to be very discouraging.
I was going to ask you, how do you keep yourself from getting discouraged in those moments? So usually when you hit them, they fall, but how does a fighter keep themselves if you are in that position where you're just hitting with everything you got and they're just not going away? How do you keep focused?
Just keep doing it. You know, in my head, usually when I fight in there, it's like, you know what? Either you break my hand or I break your face.
Wise words.
Put that on a t-shirt. Put that on a t-shirt.
Put it on a t-shirt.
Well, that was low.
Sure.
That was low.
Bit of a low blow there from Cedeno, but again, you've seen.
Not giving him any time either.
Yeah, right to it.
That was like a legit low blow.
And we talked about it, and Coach Wade did as well. You know, keeping that pressure is more important maybe than taking that couple of seconds to fix yourself up.
Fighters don't take the 5 minutes anyway.
Look at Ramos here, combination.
This guy, he's tough, man. He's eating all those shots.
Right hand on the end of it.
That landed.
And he's relentless. Right now, you know, there's a lot of guys like that who's like a train. They got to get going. Once they get going, they don't stop.
Just willingly taking punches there at the end of the round to try to swing some heavy bombs. Now, Dan, I'll come to you. With that third round performance, did you see anything that maybe could convince you that Ramos could get back into this fight as we continue on?
We see little bits and pieces. It's still not enough. He still needs to put much more pressure on. Cedeno still seems pretty comfortable in there, but he got through with a few shots, and we know what his game plan should be, Ramos. And we're going to see if we can do that as we head into the second half of this fight.
I would say the most success that we saw from Ramos there in that third round, even though he gets tagged with the right hand there, Nonito.
Yes. But that's the thing about Ramos is he has to be that guy in order for him to have an opportunity to win this fight, because Cedeno is just more skillful than he'll ever be. And so in order for him to land those shots, he has to press.
Yeah, I agree with you 100%. And as we head into this fourth round, he's going to need more than just that press, more than just the pressure. It's going to have to be accuracy and volume.
I agree. I think he should cut the distance so that Cedeno cannot do what he does with his counter.
Look at this right here. He starts the pressure once again from the rib. Great combination. Finishes it with the right hand. Ramos walking forward. Another right hand.
Took him a little bit to warm up, Ramos.
Right hand there from Cedeno as he exits out. Another one as well.
He sees it.
And another one he sits down on. Huge right hand.
Three right hands. Yeah. 3 overhands.
Cedeno's timing Ramos now.
Great head movement there from Henry Cedeno. As he started this round, trying to back off some of that pressure with big time power in the right hand.
Yeah, I think Cedeno is seeing that what he was doing earlier wasn't really facing Ramos, and so now he's just countering and figuring out and finding the right timing to land perfectly timed punches.
He's adapting. I love to see that in a young fighter, and that's one of the most interesting things in boxing, especially young fighters and calling fights, is seeing a game plan and then having to adjust once your opponent brings something different to the table. Ramos brought something different to the table. Now Cedeno has adjusted and is now working on counter shots.
I mean, Cedeno just landed this tremendous overhand right, and Ramos just
hell of a chin.
I think time shot.
Body shot is going to make a big difference for Cedeno.
Nonito, I don't know how many video games you play, but right now, Henry Cedeno is spamming the circle button for that overhand right over and over, and it's working. He's going right to the well, and it's working because Ramos right now is game to sit in the pocket and trade, and here we go again.
That might have been the best punch of the fight. Oh, left.
Beautiful left hook against Cedeno, and Ramos just eats it like it's breakfast here at the Caribe Royale.
My goodness.
The breakfast is very good here, I must add.
He needs to go underneath and throw that uppercut for Cedeno because, you know, the overhand right is effective, but the guy is just putting his head down, which can hurt your hand. Go underneath. After you do the overhand, go underneath. Either uppercut to the body or uppercut to the head.
It's the left hand of Cedeno right now. He's throwing that right first, but the left, which is coming right after, is landing every time. It's upstairs and downstairs.
And it's on the button, too. You start to wonder, are there some fighters that just don't have a button? You're looking for it, you're trying to find it.
Staggered.
Well, talking about button, he got hit with the button right there. Cedeno was pushing that button.
But this
and again.
And another shot. And here comes Ramos trying to sit down and land his own.
First time we saw Ramos staggered in this fight just happened moments ago.
But he's not stopping.
No.
And right back on the front foot, here comes Ramos.
Momentarily staggered.
Momentarily. You know, he was. I could say it was a little bit off balance. Didn't expect it.
But Anita, what you're saying makes, you're starting to see it more and more. As Cedeno throws the overhands and the hooks, you are starting to see Ramos duck that head a little bit, start to roll with punches a little more and throw the counters. Those uppercuts, obviously something to go to. What else do you say to Henry Cedeno in the corner? Because it seems like he's doing everything else right.
Well, again, mix different punches, have a different punch selection so that, he'll understand that, because if you're doing the same thing over and over, Ramos is gonna know exactly what's going on, right? So, like I said, overhand right, and then come underneath. That was the one that hurt him, that pressed the button.
Beautiful, the double jab right hand. And I will say, in all of these exchanges, Henry Cedeno is coming out the better of them, but he's starting to wear it a little bit, sort of bleed a little bit from the nose, a bit of a mouse under the eye, some bruising on the cheek. Again, we talked about Ramos. He's never out of a fight. 23 wins, 20 of them by knockout.
It's great matchmaking. It's a
one thing
veteran.
that debilitates the mind for Cedeno is this guy just keeps coming in, and just keeps
right hand to start the round.
It's a mental fatigue at this moment.
Ramos walks forward, looking to land big power shots of his own. You'd have to think, Dan Canobio, that he's down on the cards right now, so a finish is probably the route to victory for Ramos.
We're getting into that territory for Ramos. Swing for the fences, which he's done 20 times in his career, been successful there. But for Cedeno, this is good matchmaking. He's 26 years old, only has 47 rounds in his 14 fights. So you want to get some rounds. And you want to go up against a guy who has a great chin. That's Ramos. He's very tough. He's going to come forward, show different wrinkles, and that's been the case so far.
And in order for him to, he got hit with that right hand by Ramos. One thing that Cedeno needs to learn, and this is a beautiful experience for him, is because he has to adapt. It's not just his way all the time. He's actually need to adapt. He's done that already in different style.
Tried to load up on that right hand, and Ramos saw it coming. I did like, and Onito, I think you could talk more about this, I did like the start to the round for Cedeno with the jab. Getting back to what basics were in those first couple of rounds and what were so successful for him early.
Right, and again, that's something that he should always do, knowing that he's a taller guy, faster guy. Throw the jabs, double jabs, feint. I didn't see no feints with Cedeno at the moment, because if he feints, I believe that he'll pull Ramos in for a good counter.
Ramos looking to throw some hammers right now. Not quite as accurate as he'd like to be, but he's putting the pressure on Cedeno. Right hands across, throwing some combinations here.
This is where he wants to be.
Exactly where he wants to be, and it doesn't have to be the most pretty volume in the world. Just the activity there in the corner is going to win over some of these exchanges for him.
He's going to win over the judges, too. The judges like activity. They like volume. They like aggressiveness. And what we're seeing in the second half of this fight is Ramos at least coming forward. I don't know if he's winning rounds, but this is how you win rounds in modern-day boxing, is by coming forward.
You get those punches with heavy-handed guys like that, it will slow you down.
It's a relentless pace that Ramos has put on.
Look at these combinations here from Ramos. Right hand across.
Let me win this round.
Left hook, Ramos.
I should give that round to Ramos.
Yeah, I would give this round to Ramos.
Right hand there from Cedeno. Tries to sit down on one, and Ramos returns.
And again, I want to see Cedeno throwing an uppercut or underneath after he throws that overhand.
There's an overhand from Cedeno, but an uppercut from Ramos.
But coming up, this is exactly what that is. We just threw a right uppercut.
Oh, big right hand, and the mouthpiece goes out from Ramos, and he keeps fighting. Lands a big right hand of his own. My goodness, they swing to the end of the round, and Ramos's mouthpiece is out.
Right here next to us.
We have a mouthpiece out on the stage, and no one knows it.
They probably have another one, but I've never seen a mouthpiece go that far.
We're going to get some help here. We got Nonito going off of commentary to hand it to the team. What a legend. Nonito Donaire takes off the headset and jumps on stage to grab the mouthpiece.
Listen, I've seen mouthpieces fly, but not like that. That thing flew over the ropes.
It grew wings. Look at it. There it goes. It grew wings and flew. My goodness, what a right hand. And how about this?
That's why, because he had it out. He was adjusting it.
How about this? Doesn't even flinch. Let's go again. Let's throw hammers in the pocket.
He actually hurt Cedeno in this exchange.
Cracked him with a right hand.
Good round from. Great round.
And these guys, I fought one of these guys, and they are very tiring. Very tiring.
Well, once I saw Chihuahua, Mexico, and I saw the record, and I started watching some of his previous fights, it's like, this is going to be a tough night at the office for Cedeno.
Maybe that's why it's called a Chihuahua, because the guy, hey, Chihuahua!
Let's see how he uses this momentum last round.
Yeah, coming off a big round here for Hernandez Ramos. And again, he gets right on that front foot and starts that activity forward. And look at this now, Ramos working his jab. And
doubled up on it too. That was great.
He hasn't done much of that in this fight. Now he's turned into the boxer Flash.
Now he's the matador. Oh, good.
Look
right
at that.
A left hook.
Beautiful. Check left hook off the back foot.
Yeah.
And
Tables have turned.
Where did it set it up? Set it up with that feint to the body with the jab, right over the top. Beautiful stuff. And if you are Cedeno, again, we talked about this early in the fight, and it's funny how these things work. We cycle back to it. How do you keep yourself focused here and not let this fight slip a little bit, Nonito?
Well, right now,
Beautiful jab from Cedeno.
Do that. Right? Throw the jab. He needs to take back the momentum in this fight. He needs to go back to what he did.
And let's not act like he didn't just have a monumental punch land at the end of that round. He has run away with some of these rounds. This is clearly Henry Cedeno's fight, but he has to be able to, like you talked about, man, in these fights with guys that are hard punchers and do have just granite chins. You got to be able to weather that storm.
right. You know, one thing that Cedeno is throwing now is those uppercuts.
Right hand Ramos
from the to the chin, and that, you know, that's, again, he can throw an overhand right and right uppercut to the chin. I think that's something that he can do and land, but he hasn't done that.
There it is.
Yeah,
1-2.
That hook right hand from Ramos, and I think part of the reason that mouthpiece is looking to fly out at every moment is because he's breathing through his mouth.
He's moving it around. He's adjusting it. That what we saw last round was like perfect timing. That thing went for a ride.
Nice right hand there from Henry Cedeno.
I like this round from Cedeno, Wade. He took back some momentum here, and he went back to what he did in the first couple rounds. Throwing heavy shots, sitting down, walking him back.
He's getting hit with those heavy hands, too.
Back and forth round here in number 6. 45 seconds left here to go. Stiff jab from Cedeno.
Heavy hands coming from Ramos.
Short left hook and a right hand. Looks to follow up. This is a great round.
Ramos has made this fight competitive. He started off in the first couple of rounds like, okay, Cedeno's going to do whatever he wants in there. But Ramos has made this competitive. And that's what he is at this point in his career. He's going to give tough rounds.
Oh, good left hook by Cedeno that Ramos just took.
Big shots from both fighters here in the last 10 seconds. Overhand right, Cedeno. And he's got to be asking himself, what more do I have to give? I'm hitting with everything in the kitchen sink, and he's just not going anywhere.
He's looking at us, he's looking into the crowd, and I guarantee he's thinking what you just said, Wade. Like, what more can I throw at this guy?
I'm telling you, man, something that he doesn't see, because right now he's doing the same thing over and over and over, and Ramos is expecting those punches.
He's getting hit with so many lefts. Ramos, it's not the right. The right is the first shot that Cedeno's throwing in those combinations. It's that left that's coming after it is landing at will, and it's not moving Ramos at all. It's not deterring him at all.
We have a banger of a fight on our hands. And it makes sense because we are most valuable prospects, the best and brightest, the future of boxing on display here at the Caribe Royale. You can't get it anywhere else.
This guy's incredible, incredibly tough.
Here we are in round number 7 of an absolute banger to start this card between Luis Hernandez Ramos and Henry Cedeno. I felt in round 6 we saw a bit more of the pep in the step from Henry Cedeno. Like you said, Dan, some urgency to get that round back after potentially losing the 5th. And he starts the 7th with that same energy. Beautiful hook to start off here.
Yeah, that's a beautiful left hook coming from Cedeno. And now he's moving his head a little bit more. Good jab coming from Cedeno. But now the Matador is becoming a Matador.
Once again, he's wearing many different hats tonight, Cedeno.
Yes.
Boxer, brawler, Matador. Talking about an elbow there?
Yeah, he saw the elbow, pushed him a little bit with the elbow. But you can see Ramos is just exhausted. He's tired. You know, his mouth is open. And I believe the body shot is definitely going to do well for Cedeno.
Right now, Cedeno taking everything and some, hitting him with everything he wants.
It's the left hook to the body that's been consistent for Cedeno. It's not his #1 punch.
Beautiful uppercut left hook.
That's exactly.
You called it, Flash.
Yes, the overhand,
Oh, big overhand. Cedeno lands flush. And another one.
Now he needs to come underneath. He needs to come underneath after that overhand. You cannot do the same thing over and over because Ramos is going to see it.
What is Luis Ramos made of?
Granite. Which
Adamantium?
Yes,
Adamantium? Wolverine style?
He probably is.
My
Wawa,
goodness.
Mexico. Something in the water out there.
Yeah, man. Chihuahua.
And a double left hook there from Ramos.
Shout out to everyone in the chat right now over on YouTube. They're looking for Walton. He's coming up later on tonight, but you're watching a great one here.
You trying to get YouTube chat points, Dan?
No, I love watching the chat, keeping tabs on what everyone's talking about over there on Most Valuable Promotions YouTube channel.
They better be talking about this 7th round because it's been back and forth once again, and Cedeno finding a home for some big-time power punches. But here comes Ramos as well. Triple jab Cedeno backs Ramos into the ropes.
I think with Ramos that's really impressive. Yeah, obviously, his toughness is he hasn't shown anything like on his face. He hasn't shown anything that he has taken punishment for the last 7 rounds.
Right. If that was me, I'll be like blue and purple and everything.
Huge right hand again, Cedeno. And another counter right hand.
He's saying, come on,
and Ramos brings it right back with a left hook.
That's his good stuff.
Unbelievable.
Exactly where he wants to be, in the fire. And my goodness, both these fighters are letting punches just burn. Back and forth. What a 7th round here in our opening bout. And look who's in the building. The man himself, the problem child, Jake Paul, on hand to watch these fights tonight. The co-founder of MVP, sitting to our left, Dan. Talk to me about Mr. Jake Paul.
The future opponent of Canelo Alvarez.
Oh, you put it out there?
Yeah, I put it out there. I honestly believe that fight happens, but coming off that Tyson event, we were out there. It was wild, and it's nice to see the boss man here at Most Valuable Prospects.
He's enjoying this first fight, as we all are, and it's because of shots like that from Henry Cedeno.
Left hook. That lands.
That was a good bounce back round for Cedeno. Two in a row now. You know, that 6th round, we saw Ramos have some moments, but I think Cedeno over the last 6 minutes, Flash, has taken that back completely.
Oh yeah, definitely.
What you have to anticipate, gentlemen, is that Luis Ramos is about to bring hellfire to round number 8.
Oh yeah, he has to. There's no other way for him to win this fight unless he gets those big shots. You know, Cedeno has done well throughout the whole card, the whole fight, the whole round, and he just needs to be protecting himself, be defensive, throw the jabs, throw the feints. That's something that I didn't see from Cedeno, is the feint.
You like his approach to this 8th round so far? It's just being more defensive, trying to use his footwork, be slick, and then pepper the jab out there.
I like that, you know, because it sets everything up. You know, Ramos is desperate for a big shot. So you know what? The best thing, and that was a beautiful jab to the body. You know, the best thing that he needs to do is watch him, have him reach in and counter.
Nice right hand there, Henry Cedeno. Again, one of the brighter stars we've had here on Prospects, looking to bag another W here.
Curious to see what he thought, what he thinks of his performance. It was a very good performance. There were some moments in those middle rounds where he took a lot more shots than he probably wanted to.
And the thing you are seeing here in this 8th round is it's one at a time right now for Henry Cedeno, who holds the ropes, gets a warning from the referee there, kind of smiling about it.
Yeah, one at a time because he knows that he's up on the cards. It's the final 90 seconds of the fight. You know, don't take too many risks, Flesh. Just coast.
Yes.
And I think it's just invaluable, like you talked about, Dan, to have a fighter like Luis Ramos in front of you. We've seen him against other tough guys. It's only going to build for his future. I mean,
Henry Cedeno wants to go on to be a world champion. God willing, he has a nice long career. He's going to look back and remember the night that he got into the ring with Luis Hernandez Ramos,
who continues to fire off right hands, walking forward, left hand to the body there. Very smart from Henry Cedeno to clinch and get out. Looking to showcase a bit of that footwork here in round 8, and like you said, Dan, maybe not take too many risks with 40 seconds left.
Beautiful jab coming from Cedeno. But
yeah, this is what we saw from him in some past performances. You know, he's always going to be the taller opponent in there.
Yeah.
140 pounds being that tall and that rangy.
Good body shot and good finish with the jab coming up, switching from unorthodox to southpaw. But he has to be watching out, man.
Gotta be careful. Gotta
Yes.
be careful. And I'm sure he is, but I've seen many fighters try to be a little fluid in there and get caught.
Ooh, my goodness.
Like that.
Just like that. But again, in these last few seconds, Henry Cedeno, a tough test, and one, like you said, Dan, that I think he will absolutely remember. But I'll go to you. How do you think this fight goes down?
Oh, I think maybe 5 or 6 rounds for Cedeno in this fight. He started off in the pocket and ended boxing, but ultimately great performance from Henry Cedeno.
Yeah, you got to give it up to Ramos, man. That dude is tough. That dude can take a punch, you know, and he didn't want to just quit. He just want to keep pushing, you know. That's a beautiful heart that he has. He has a big heart that even though he was losing the fight, he still tried, you know, and you got to give that respect to Ramos.
You got to give that respect, and what a fight to start our night. But folks, we still have a banger of a main event coming your way later tonight. The WBA Interim World Championship will headline this card, a bantamweight fight between Antonio Vargas and Winston Guerrero. Our co-main event is the Phenom Walton versus Eric Handley. Denier the Fear Perro makes his return to Most Valuable Prospects in a WBA Continental USA heavyweight bout against Walter Burns. And our opening bout on the main card features the former Olympian Tamara Tebow versus Natasha Spence.
Hey, Jack, can you make a picture together?
A very exciting fight, and look who's on hand to watch with us. Amanda Serrano, and who's she sitting next to, Dan Canobio?
There's 2 Puerto Rican legends right there. Tito Trinidad, Amanda Serrano. Listen, Tyson and Paul were the main event in our last fight. Amanda Serrano and Katie Taylor put on such a show. Everywhere I went following that, I was asked about that fight. Tito holding court.
Tito, as always, by the way, as always, who doesn't love Tito? Every person we talked to in Puerto Rico when we were down there, just glowing things to say. A legend of the island through and through, Nonito.
Oh yeah, you know, Tito he was one of the guys that I looked up to growing up, and that's how my left hook was derived from.
Wow.
Was from Tito, Alexis Arguello, a little bit of Mike Tyson, you know. So
Love that.
Pretty damn cool, if you ask me.
All right, well, it looks like some fighters that have modeled their game after legends here in attendance. They're ready for an official decision, and so are we. So let's send it to Dasha Corrette.
After 8 rounds, we go to the judges' scorecards. Alexander Levin scores this bout 79-73. James O'Connor scores this bout 78-74. And Rodolfo Aguilar scores this bout 79-73. Your winner by unanimous decision, Henry La Bazooka Cedeno.
Henry Cedeno, your winner by unanimous decision. And gentlemen, I think that's the outcome we all expected.
Oh, of course, yes. He had some moments in the middle of the rounds where it looked a little hairy for him, but he ultimately gets the W and moves on with his career. 15-0, Henry Cedeno.
I'll tell you what, again, all credit to Luis Ramos, who came to fight, who brought it, who took some punches that I think would send other people to the astral plane and just kept coming forward. I mean, the mouthpiece was out on stage here for us. Nonito, you had to go grab it. What did you see from Henry here and the test he had in front of him?
You know, one thing that Henry needs to do is learn how to set his punches more rather than be expected to hit his punches, his opponent. You know, I believe that he was just doing the same thing over and over. I mean, he did have a great punch selection. It's just that he was doing the same thing over and over. Granted that it did land, and you got to give that credit to Ramos, but one thing he needs to learn more is use his speed, use his talent, use his skills.
What would you guys like to see next for Henry Cedeno? Dan, we talked about him obviously wanting to move up those ranks into world title contention. Where is he at right now?
He's getting there. I mean, he needs to just be active. That's the #1 thing in boxing today, is just fight 3 or 4 times in 2025 and let the chips fall where they may.
At super lightweight as well. I mean, the who's who right now in boxing. So the names up there, potentially Henry Cedeno trying to make his way to that level. But This fight was a test in his young career, as you saw some absolute hammers from both guys in an 8-round war. Look at that.
There's the
mouthpiece.
Mouthpiece goes flying onto the stage.
And then he lands this big left hook right after that.
Amazing. Good fight. Good scrap to start us off.
A banger to start us off, but next on our card, we have the heavyweights, ladies and gentlemen, as Gergen Big Goog Hovhannissian takes on Patrick Magic Mailata. Our tale of the tape, the Big Goog, aged 26. Look at that height, 6'7", 275, an 81-inch reach. And between the two, gentlemen, I think somewhere around the ballpark of 584 pounds. We have big meat in this bout. Our tale of the tape, as you see, brought to you by Celsius Live Fit Essential Energy. Mailata giving up some height, obviously giving up some reach, but when the heavyweights go in, it's anyone's game. Let's send it to Dasha Corrette and get this one underway.
Making his way to the red corner, fighting out of Las Vegas, Nevada, by way of Apia, Samoa, Patrick Magic Mailata.
Patrick Magic Mailata from Apia, Samoa. I'll tell you what, there's a lot of hype around the Big Goog. Gergen Hovhannissian, a lot of people taking a look at him as a potential star in the heavyweight division coming up, but Mailata is a freak athlete at 309 pounds. I saw him moving around yesterday, hitting the mids, and it just looked like a freight train. The speed I was not anticipating, and I'll tell you what, he is looking to play upset alert tonight. Can he get it done? Guess we'll find out.
And his opponent making his way to the blue corner, fighting out of Los Angeles, California, by way of Armenia, Gergen Big Goog Hovhannissian.
There he is, the Big Goog, and I'm only going to say this because I'm arm's reach away from the great Nonito Donaire, but Nonito, that man is on a different level. He's 6'7". Have you seen somebody that big before?
I mean, Tyson Fury in them, you know.
That's the comparison you're hearing a lot with this guy, absolutely.
I mean, he's bald too, so.
Listen, I'll let you say that.
Guy.
He's a monster. Both these guys are, and again, a lot of hype, a lot of attention being paid to the Big Goog here. Can he, under the lights at the Caribe Royale at Most Valuable Prospects, get the job done?
This next bout is set for 8 rounds in the heavyweight division. Brought to you by Celsius Live Fit Essential Energy. Let's meet our judges. First, we have Tina Griffith. Next, we have Alexander Levin and James Jed O'Connor. Our referee for this bout is Christopher Young. Let's meet our fighters. Fighting to my left in the red corner, wearing black, gold, and maroon, with an official weigh-in of 309.4 pounds and an official record of 6 wins, 2 losses, no draws, and 3 of those victories by knockout. From Las Vegas, Nevada, by way of Apia, Samoa, Patrick Magic Mailata. And his opponent, fighting out of the blue corner, wearing green and gold, with an official weigh-in of 275 pounds and an undefeated record of 6 victories, no losses, no draws, and 6 of those victories by knockout. Fighting out of Los Angeles, California, by way of Armenia, Gergen Big Goog Hovhannissian.
Take top off.
Big Goog, you got to get the shirt off here first.
Easier said than done, getting that thing off.
All right, Jimmy, listen, everything up here gonna be good. Everything up here gonna be good. Because Jimmy, you're shooting strictly just from a tough, clean fight.
Let's go.
Aim a commands ball all the time, protect yourselves all the time. Touch them up.
Heavyweights about to throw down in an 8-round matchup. Gergen the Big Goog Hovhannissian taking on Patrick Magic Mailata.
Rick, when are you ready?
You know, Mailata
Rick, when are you
has
ready?
Dewey Cooper in the corner.
And Hovhannissian has Joe Goosen, the legend, the denim-wearing legend.
That's incredible.
Who guided so many careers from Michael Nunn, Ryan Garcia, Diego Corrales, so many.
Even Casamayor.
Casamayor, so many more. It's always great to see Joe Goosen here.
Mailata opening the action with the right hands to the body.
Hovhannissian using that jab in that distance, being the taller guy.
You know, I was talking to Joe yesterday, and I was saying, what do you like in this fight? And he was hoping for it to go 10 rounds because he believes that his guy, Hovhannissian, is in better shape than Mailata, who what you see now is Mailata lost a lot of weight to get down to 300 pounds. He was a big boy before this, so he believes that Hovhannissian is in better shape and more fit for this fight to go to distance.
Very patient start to this fight from Hovhannissian. Staying on his jab, working that range on the outside.
You know, looking at these guys, they look like just big bears, you know. Like they look like they're really nice guys.
Nice big bears, 600 total pounds inside the ring right now.
Yeah, they look very nice from where we're sitting. I wouldn't want to be in there with those bears at all.
No. Good body shot, by the way. Left hand by Mailata.
And very fast hands for Big Goog as he throws out a left hook super quickly.
That left hook was really fast, really nice. Definitely a speed advantage so far, Hovhannissian.
Yes, Hovhannissian is very skillful. He's playing that game. Oh, even I think that was a football rush coming from Mailata.
Blitz there for Mailata, but he eats a right hand on the end of it there.
He's fast as well. He has a good closing distance.
Big left hook there from Mailata. Chopping to the body of the taller Hovhannissian. And you're going to have to utilize some feints, some different techniques, and obviously head movement to get past that long range, Nonito.
Yes, and again, you know, a feint in there might work for Hovhannissian.
Double jab there from Big Goog. He eats a couple from Mailata.
You know, I think that Big Goog can counter Mailata after he throws those jabs because he's reaching in with those jabs, and I think an overhand while he leans to the left can land those shots on Mailata.
Here comes the blitz.
Mailata gets hit. Hovhannissian gets hit with a big left hook coming from Mailata.
I'll tell you what, when the heavyweights step in, and I think you can even hear it in our commentary a little bit, we have some bated breath. A little bit, you can hear a pin drop because everybody's just on pins and needles waiting for what could happen.
Yeah, something different about heavyweights.
Yeah.
Yes.
There's something different when they step into that ring. It's going to end at any moment.
Good double jab straight coming from Hovhannissian.
Combination there to end the round from the Big Goog. And the left hook to punctuate it. A close round. I would say a very timid round from both fighters. No one really wanting to show too much too early.
Yeah, I thought Hovhannissian won that round. I thought he controlled it with a little more activity. I liked his jab there. He showed some variation in his offense. Close round, but I give it to Hovhannissian. Look at him sitting on a stool there, and he's above the turnbuckle. That's wild.
I'll be like a little kid with my feet hanging down, like I'm in a swing. Yes.
Like Joe is a pretty tall guy, Joe Goosen, and he's almost eye to eye with him, and he's sitting.
He's sitting down.
It's wild.
I'll clean it up.
Flash, when you look at this second round, you saw, blitzes in spurts from Patrick Mailata. Yeah, that's insane. Look at that shot right there.
Great camera work, guys.
That would be like if you were just standing there, by the way.
My feet would be dangling.
If you didn't have a stool there or was just standing, you'd be the same height. When we get into this second round, what do you have to do if you're Patrick Mailata to get into that closer range and dissipate a bit of that reach advantage from Hovhannissian?
Move his head more like Tyson would do, left and right, but he's just waiting for it. And I think that's why the jab from Hovhannissian is landing and he's able to get out. But I believe that if Mailata moves his head left and right and press forward, I think he can get in and close that distance.
He's either going to have to double jab in, he's going to have to move his head, he's going to have to figure out a way to get inside.
That's correct.
We have a lot of legends in the building tonight. Miguel Cotto is here. He was a master of that, getting inside on fighters, being the shorter guy.
There. Mailata hits a 360 on the miss, but you're starting to see active lead hands right now from Hovhannissian. Beautiful double jab earlier in the round. He's starting to punctuate some things here.
Pump that jab. You're the bigger guy in there. Longer reach.
You know, I think that Hovhannissian, when he jabs, he doesn't step, and he's just right there. And I think when Mailata times it, he's able to penetrate that distance and hit him with shots, even though if it's blocked or not. But that's how Mailata is working to be able to get inside because of the way Hovhannissian is jabbing.
Beautiful.
Good jab hook coming from, left hook coming from Hovhannissian.
It's just like that. You see that difference in speed where he's just touching with the jab, Nonito, and then all of a sudden that left hook comes out with some speed on it.
Yes. And I think he's just setting that up to throw that
right hand there. But I'll tell you what, Mailata eats it. Throws a nice jab of his own walking into range.
Yes, and he lands it. 1-2 jabs.
Another jab there from Big Goog. Goes to the body with it as well. I do like the variety you're seeing out of the Armenian.
Yeah, I think that Mailata can really go in there with his hands up, but moving his head forward. Because right now, Hovhannissian is just touching him, and he's setting that up. He's setting the hook, he's setting the straight. And that's exactly what he's going to do, and he's going to keep doing that.
There it is.
This is going to be a matter of time.
Uppercut there from Big Goog, and I think we have to remind the folks at home, while it may not look like Hovhannissian's really putting anything behind these punches, these are adding up, and this is at heavyweight. You flick that jab out, and it's like a center block.
Oh, yeah.
So when some of these uppercuts are landing and these hooks and the speed on those, these things are landing hard. You're already seeing a little bit of redness in the eye of Patrick Mailata, and obviously on the body of Hovhannissian. These shots are starting to come in a little heavier.
Good 1-2 coming from Hovhannissian.
He is making Mailata pay. Making him pay.
Punch of the round, punch of the fight so far for Hovhannissian. Timing him now. Kind of coming off that jab now and starting to throw power shots.
You know, he saw it because when he was throwing those jabs, hook and straight, he actually landed the same punch earlier, and he knew where Mailata's head was going to be, and he got him. Perfectly got him.
Yeah, Mailata's a little confused right now. He hasn't mustered any offense at all. He has to figure it out quick, or this can get ugly.
Well, let's go into the blue corner here, and legendary coach Joe Goosen. We can hear him, folks, but looks like we're having some mic issues with Coach Goose in there. But I was going to say, Nonito, not to bring in another sport, but the great Michael Jordan always used to say, you reach, I teach. And I feel like at the end of the round there, Hovhannissian was teaching a little bit while you saw Mailata reaching for the right hand for the body shots, and it just when he got on the end of range punches, the counters were coming out.
Right, and that's the thing that you will see with Big Goog is he's a very intelligent fighter. He knows how to get the distance, he knows, and now he has the timing.
And he's not having to waste a ton of energy either because Mailata is bringing the fight to him. He's just willing to fight it off the back foot and land those counter punches.
Yep. You know, and again, those jabs is very effective for Hovhannissian. But right now, he's just setting up those shots. And Mailata has to...
He's a good active. Do that right there. Get inside.
Yeah, well, not just get inside, but do a different routine.
To get inside, right?
To get inside.
Leaping gazelle hook there.
That'll work.
Mailata.
Don't do it every time, but that mix that in there too.
And again, here he comes with it. You see the athleticism. You see the explosion. It's there in spurts from Mailata, but Hovhannissian obviously seeing a lot of those punches coming out and getting out of the way. Nice right hand there.
That's the range he wants to fight at, right there.
That's it.
That was so fluid and just so natural. It seemed like from Hovhannissian. 1-2 right down the pipe, landed, got out of the way.
Again, body shot.
We talk about the effort level. Look at the effort level it takes for Mailata to get a punch, to even get close to landing, whereas Hovhannissian is just on the end of punches.
It's almost like Mailata, he has to like, it's almost like he's rushing quarterback. Like he just set up a rush there to get inside. Didn't land anything of note. It takes off a lot of energy.
Oh, good one.
Not only that, Hovhannissian can see it coming. He can sit back and throw those power shots.
Good uppercut. Right uppercut coming from Venetian. He just knows the distance and the timing of Mailata. When Mailata's started to slow down, he knows exactly what Mailata's going to do.
Beautiful left hook there from Big Goog. And how about the cross guard implementation here from Mailata? Shouts to George Foreman there, Dan.
You would think it would come from Hovhannissian with the George Foreman tactics. He kind of resembles him inside of the ring, but I would like to see Hovhannissian. Oh, a nice shot from Mailata. Finally landed something of note. But you see Hovhannissian open up a little more, throw some more power shots. We're into the third round now. I feel like he's got a good sweat going. He's got some momentum here. Throw some more shots.
Great hooks to the body there from Mailata. And Hovhannissian tries to return with a combination of his own. And another left hook.
Jab coming from Mailata.
And you know what's interesting about it, Nonito, is he's almost trying to get the big man to come into his range without working so hard. So he's standing there and taking some of those shots to then deliver his own counterpunch.
Right. Oh, good.
Right hand, Hovhannissian.
Did you see that left hook coming from Mailata? That was a good one, but both guys are taking those shots too.
Well, it's like you talked about, Dan. They're starting to heat up here in this third round with 30 seconds left.
Yeah.
We're seeing the volume go up, and we're seeing both fighters sit down on their punches.
Like you said, Dan, he is more like a George Foreman type of fighter. You know, the jab.
That one too, where it doesn't look like he's throwing hard, Hovhannissian, but he is.
Short right hand from Hovhannissian. The hook again from Mailata. It's been the go-to punch from both fighters as we end this third round. And what a round it was. And I'll tell you this, it is hard to not see the resemblance between Gergen Hovhannissian and just the size and the trunks and just the way he fights. A Tyson Fury style of it.
Yes.
And it's working for him so far. And you see Coach Goosen here in our corner talking about that cross guard and how tough it is to get past it. He's coaching Hovhannissian on how to get past that short guard of Mailata.
And Coach Dewey Cooper trying to tell Hovhannissian that exact hook.
There it is. That's exactly
not Hovhannissian, but Mailata's that exact hook.
Yeah, that's what Goosen just told him when he goes into that cross shell there. Throw the overhand right. You just saw a replay of him landing that, telling him to do that even more. Shocker of the night, Joe Goosen not wearing denim.
I would count probably on the two hands the amount of times he hasn't.
It's throwing me off a little bit.
Or all white.
Or the all white. The all white.
All white. I've seen him wear all white denim. Second spillage we got in the corner.
Oh no, another spill in the blue corner. We're gonna have to take a quick break here. Gets the towel up. You can make Coach Goosen do that? Come on, man. It's a legend, man.
Nice.
I would do it.
No, we know that. You grabbed the mouthpiece a second ago.
Right. I was going to wear it too.
Hopped up like a spider monkey. I was like, where Nonito go? He was over here on this side of me. Here we go. Again, the heavyweights go at it in round 4. Do not blink, folks, because one punch can end it. It'll be interesting to see as we get into the latter half of this fight, gentlemen, the adjustments from both corners. You know, we've seen great coaches in both corners. Who is going to make that first adjustment and start to turn the tide a bit here?
You would think it would be Mailata because, you know, he's losing the fight. He's got to figure out ways to get inside. Hovhannissian, I feel like, can fight this fight that he's been fighting until the final bell, if it goes the distance.
You know, I think Hovhannissian is starting to slow down a bit. This is why Mailata is landing and getting in more shots. But I think Hovhannissian is not as fresh, I guess. And Mailata's landing those shots and being able to come in just like that.
Both fighters landed some combinations to start round 4 here. Beautiful double jab right hand, and then slides out of range does Hovhannissian. Mailata, I think we have no doubts at this point, has a chin on him and is going to just walk through those punches to get to where he needs to get to.
I guess Chihuahua and Samoa is pretty much the same. Samoa.
2 for 2.
That's right. Tough guys, man. Oh, good straight coming from Hovhannissian. Straight right hand. Another one.
Really sat down on that shot.
That one shook the cobwebs of Mailata, and he's starting to spin around here. Maybe some footing issues, but he's getting tagged with shots here from Big Goog.
You know what? Oh, good uppercut. Right uppercut coming from Hovhannissian.
My goodness. Big Goog is letting some fly right now.
Just like Joe Goosen said, you know, that overhand or that straight because of that.
Oh, big left hand there from Patrick Mailata. Now he's on the front foot. Tagged find Big Goog with that one.
Yeah, over the last 3 rounds, Mayada has closed the distance a little bit. He's able to land those shots. They're few and far between, but they're getting the attention of Hovhannissian.
And just after, Ergen Hovhannissian has some great combinations. We think maybe starting to separate in this 4th round. Here comes Mailata with a nice up jab and staggers him a bit. And again, trying to work his way through that long 81-inch reach of Big Goog.
Not throwing a lot of jabs this round. He's getting a little tired. He's willing to stand there and trade a little more. Hovhannissian.
Watch you right there. Let him go. Let him go.
And you've seen Mailata close that distance a little easier this round. After that big start from Big Goog, Mailata finding a home for the jab and the hook.
Big Goog trying to set up that straight right hand. Trying to time it.
End of round 4 there. Another great round. Good start from Hovhannissian. Great finish from Mailata. Are you seeing a bit of a tide switch here, Dan? A little bit?
A little. Mayada has had some success over the last 2 rounds for sure. He's able to get inside. I think a little bit of that is fatigue on Hovhannissian's side, but the thing I like with Hovhannissian so far, Flash, maybe you can agree with me here, is every time that he's been hit with something, Hovhannissian, he fires back with a combination of his own.
Right.
And that's a great way to keep yourself in the fight and to kind of stop any momentum from switching to the other side.
A big red mark on Hovhannissian's from the left hook.
And some big deep breaths out of the big man as well.
Look at that. That's a big bruise.
I think this 5th round will absolutely start to separate somebody. You're seeing 2 different strategies where Hovhannissian trying not to utilize too much energy. Obviously, a big, tall guy at heavyweight, but what you're seeing from Patrick Mailata is just to bring the fight round after round. Front foot action here in this heavyweight matchup.
And I was told that Hovhannissian was the better conditioned fighter in this fight, willing to go 10, 12 rounds. So we'll see. That's what his corner told me.
2-1 there from Mailata.
Into the 2nd half of this fight. Could come down to stamina. A lot of times with heavyweights, it comes down to stamina in the 2nd half of fights.
That right hand, left hand again from Mailata. Some interesting combinations, like we talked about. Not really utilizing his jab too much, unless it's that up jab, and then goes straight to the hooks in the right hands. There's a big left hook whizzing by.
Now both guys are just in front of each other.
And what we did talk about was the potential for this fight to slow down in the later rounds, and I think that's what we're seeing. But both guys willing to accept this fight in the phone booth, which you don't really expect out of Big Goog with that reach advantage. But here we are, back and forth, right in front of each other, like you said, Flash. Nice left hook and another one. You hear Coach Goosen in the blue corner making sure the referee knows about some of the tactics, potentially with the forehead to forehead there.
It's going to happen when you're seeing a little bit of fatigue, is they're going to get into that phone booth, and you're going to see those tactics. You're going to see what they can get away with.
And you're seeing it already. Good jab for both guys.
So Mailata trying to load that blitz up again. Finish strong with good footwork from Big Goog.
Oh, good left hook coming from Mailata. That was a tremendous left hook.
And you're seeing these moments time and time again with Mailata. It just feels like there's not enough of the follow-up, Dan, right? You see the one big left hook, and then, you know, we get back to range and we wait for the next exchange, versus what you're seeing from Big Goog is the jab, double jab, right hand, the combinations land.
Yes, Goog is throwing it in combinations. And that's what the point I was making before is where if Mailata has a moment, it's what we've seen so far is Hovhannissian has fired back right after that moment. And that's a great way to get the attention of the judges.
You know, what I want to see with Mailata is after an left hook, he's come up overhand right or to the body, but he just sticks with one. He throws that left and he stops right there and then.
Looking to counter behind the hooks of Hovhannissian is Patrick Magic Mailata. Trying to find his way through range and land big punches on the end. Last 10 seconds here in round number 5. Nice double hook from Hovhannissian. Right hand from Hovhannissian lands.
Right.
Big time shot through the guard there, and someone is bleeding. I can't tell where from, if it's a forehead or...
It's Hovhannissian.
Hovhannissian potentially bleeding from the nose or out of his forehead. I'm not sure, but those headbutts potentially causing an issue in that 5th round. But a great round nonetheless. I thought Hovhannissian there, gentlemen, got back to what he did best in throw-in combination.
He looked active, and he's the better conditioned fighter, and you saw that. You know, I heard that from Goosen, and now we're seeing it in that round. Now we're getting into the later rounds here, the latter rounds of this fight. You know, Mayada didn't throw too many punches in that last round. You know, Hovhannissian took it back over.
If you're in the corner of the big Goog right now, Nonito, and we're seeing Coach Goosen school him up, what do you do in these last couple of rounds to solidify what potentially could be your victory?
I think that jab again, and even post that arm just to get up and push him off from him coming in. But that jab really is the key to keep the distance for Hovhannissian.
Big push, big push.
For Patrick Mailata, I have to start to think, gentlemen, that we're in the territory of you got to look for a finish. You got to look for some big shots to really turn the tide, because this fight could be slipping away a bit.
That's correct.
And again, this is heavyweight, where one shot is absolutely in the realm of possibility to change the fight. Goog tries to sit on a right hand. Nothing home there. Jab for Mailata. And a left hook over the top, Mailata.
It's because Hovhannissian is kind of letting him walk right in now, Flash. He's getting inside. The distance is gone, because not only is he just letting him walk in, he's not really pumping that jab, Big Goog.
That's right, that's right. And again, like I said earlier, that jab is going to be the key to keeping that distance constantly. And he just has to step back and throw that jab every single time.
Mailata reaching for the right hand a bit there.
Oh, good uppercut, but returned Mailata with the left hook. And now
pushing him back
2-1.
That just looked like Usyk and Fury pushing him back at that 9th round.
Parallels never end with Fury here.
Got a flashback. They're fighting in less than 10 days. Rematch.
W promo there from Dea Canobio.
Can't wait.
It's going to be a banger. But in front of us, we have another one. Nice left hook, and slides out, does Hovhannissian.
That was crafty. That was really nice. Left hooks. Check left hook from Hovhannissian.
Goes to the body there as well. Throwing combinations to keep the big man off of him. And again, you see Mailata go to that 2-1. It's been a successful combo for him, but Hovhannissian starting to see a little bit of the tells in the offensive game of Mailata.
I'm going to give credit to Mailata, because I did not think he would be able to get inside as easily and successfully as he has over the last 3 or 4 rounds. I don't think he's winning the fight. I don't think he's winning any of these rounds. But he's certainly putting up a valiant effort here against a guy that is much bigger, has a lot more experience.
You saw basically what we've seen in previous rounds there from Patrick Mailata, which is that big blitz. Once or twice around, you'll see him really let shots go in combination, and then it's Hovhannissian that really puts the pressure on, that throws his combinations, and it ends up, you know, taking these rounds going away, because it is just that blitz from Mailata right now.
You know what I like? What Hovhannissian just did was jab to the head, jab to the body, and overhand right to the head. You know.
Oh, big left hook, Mailata.
Left hook, and hurts
Hovhannissian badly. Trying to hold on. Here comes Patrick Mailata.
He's hurt, folks.
This is like
17 seconds.
Just like that.
Oh, he just looked over to his corner and said, I'm
Watch
good.
the back of the head, okay? Watch the back of the head.
I'm all right.
9 seconds here in round 6. Patrick Mailata looking to swing for the fences here. Left hand and a right hand behind it. That is the end of the round. Oh my goodness. And just like we said, Dan Canobio,
anything can happen, man.
Things can change in an instant.
I'm watching Big Goog over here. I'm watching him walk back to his corner very slow. I'm looking at him with his arms on the ropes, sucking wind, marked up. This is drama. This is heavyweight boxing.
Tito's loving it. Tito is loving it. Look at him. You don't get excitement like this anywhere else, folks. Most valuable prospects, we're bringing the legends in. Oh my goodness.
Well, let's see that Big Goog is done.
There we go. Oh,
bang. On the chin.
Hook. But he was hurt very,
kind of
very
seems
badly.
seeing stars a little bit there.
And rightfully so. Patrick Mailata with another left hand, tries to pounce and end the fight right there, but not quite able to. And as we go into this next round, obviously a big motivating factor for Patrick Mailata, but looks like Hovhannissian's got his feet under him to start this round.
Here we go. We're going to see if Mailata can seize that momentum and keep it going. Hovhannissian needs to jab, and he needs to take control back of this fight. Easier said than done, though, Flash.
Yeah, I think that he should just stick that jab and keep it there. You know, just keep it there, just like how Lennox Lewis would have done, or Klitschko would have done, or
say it,
Fury would have done.
If Fury would have just jabbed in the middle rounds and later rounds of the Usyk fight, he would have been champ.
Oh, big shots again, and it does feel like Patrick Mailata is landing the heavier shots there. At least he's wearing the shots better and returning.
My goodness.
He's doing exactly what you need to do when you're fighting a taller opponent. He's putting his head down and he's throwing over the top right hands. And he's finding a home for them.
Beautiful right hand there from Hovhannissian. And Flash, when you're talking about leaving that hand out there, you're essentially referencing a frame, right? You want to see Hovhannissian jab and have that frame to keep his range and also protect his chin a little bit.
That's right.
From those counter punches, a little bit of Larry Holmes, Ray Mercer style.
Yes, and you know that's something that Hovhannissian needs to do. Learn how to do that. A good combination and right uppercut coming from Hovhannissian.
Solid shots here from Big Goog, and he's handled, you know, adversity in that last round, coming back in this round very well, I'd say, Dan.
Yeah, he's pumping that jab. That's exactly that, and I think Mailata, he's a little tired. That last round, he let out a lot of energy, but expended a lot of energy.
Stop! Watch your head, okay?
That's where we're seeing the marks on Hovhannissian. He might not be like blatantly headbutting, but he's rubbing that head on ice, and that's why you're seeing those abrasions on the forehead of Big Goog.
Keep him up.
Well, getting hit with the left hook too will
that too. That will definitely leave a mark.
Yes.
Both fighters looking to find their way in this 7th round. We have Coach Larry Wade with a note.
Hey guys, listen, Mailata's doing a great job of boxing in close, but I would like to see him use his jab more because it's been successful. And once he closes the distance, stop giving it back, because that's how he's advancing. Stay close and let your hands go. Stop!
Appreciate that, Coach. I like what he said there too, gentlemen. Stop giving it back. It's almost obvious that Hovhannissian can stay at that jab range with the right hand and potentially take this all the way, but then we find ourselves in these kind of exchanges right here. Oh my goodness, 3-punch combination, and Mailata just accepts it.
Stop!
In the phone booth, like, all right, I'm gonna get hit, but I'm here to stay.
There's some bounce. There it is. Some bounce. Hovhannissian. Haven't seen that in a few rounds.
That's all he needs to do. Step back a little bit.
There it is.
There it is, right there.
Yep.
Exactly. That's it.
Keeps himself out of danger and lands a 3-punch combination. And then a good job of clinching there to end the round to keep himself safe, Flash.
Yes.
We're seeing the endurance. We're seeing the conditioning that Joe Goosen told me about. Hovhannissian in that last round, and especially the last 30 seconds of that round, was able to stick and move. And Mailata, I think, is spent. I think that last sally he had in round 6 or 7, I think that was all he had.
Looked to be that way in that round, but listen, it is round 8. 3 minutes for the rest of your life. A massive fight here for Patrick Mailata. Can he find a way to bring the fire out in this last round, Flash?
Well, it's not about can he has to. You know, that's a different mindset. When you go in there, I have to. I'm burning the boats. You know, there's no coming back from this. If I want to win, I got to go all out.
A mindset that few have, but in the square circle, you must have. In this 8th and final round, 2 heavyweights. Will they go the distance? A little respect there between both fighters. Here we go, our 8th and final round. Again, Hovhannissian looking to start the round on the jab. There's the blitz from Mailata.
That's what he's got to do. He's got to land find that magic and land that right. Especially when he's up against the ropes. You don't want to be there. Be in the middle of the ring, right there. Right back to the middle where he wants to be. Yep. Firing the jab.
Stepping back.
Hovhannissian peppering the jab and then few right hands between there. What you potentially could see here from Mailata is using that blitz just to close distance and not even, really land those attacks. But once you get to that point, Flash, then let it go.
Right, but I don't think he has any more coming from, oh, never mind.
Right when you think he may be done, he throws the left hook, and Hovnisian gets on that bike really quick. Right hand from Mailata, nice uppercut.
Right uppercut coming from Hovnisian.
Beautiful, in close there, sneaky uppercut from the big Goog.
He's looking a little bit more fresher than earlier.
And he's throwing that jab, and he's firing power shots off of it. It's just the recipe, as his head gets snapped back by Mailata.
Oh, look at this. Hovnisian starting to land in combinations.
He's boxing really well.
Yeah, he just caught that.
Beautiful combination from Big Goog. Left hook on the end of it. And you're seeing some big, deep breaths out of Patrick Mailata right now.
We talked about endurance. We talked about conditioning. A lot of times heavyweight boxing comes down to that.
Wow.
Hovnisian over the last 2 rounds has been the better conditioned fighter, and we're seeing that.
I think he's starting to see it as well, Dan. He's starting to anticipate a little bit of that forward kind of lackadaisical motion from Mailata, and he's taking advantage with another uppercut.
Not least that, we're just seeing a different class, and we're seeing a little more experience from Hovnisian. Like those middle rounds, he was tired, and he was holding on. They were fighting in a
second win, baby.
Second win. He knew he'd get it. It's just a matter of when it comes.
Right.
He got it in the 7th round, and he's been boxing beautifully to close the show.
Another short uppercut from Gergen Hovnisian, and a right hand as he turns.
I think this is the best that I've seen in Hovnisian. Just stepping up, moving around, throwing that jab, throwing the combinations.
And right now, Patrick Mailata is literally fighting with his head. He is just walking forward. His hands are completely down. Obviously, he's gassed, but he's not giving in. He's trying to find his openings, but he's getting tagged for it. Double jab there. And again, you see it, just head down swinging. Dead tired, but trying to find it. As Big Goog continues to land combinations in the last few seconds of this round and of this fight. Both heavyweights swing until the end here. And there it is. An 8-round heavyweight matchup goes the distance between Gergen Hovnisian and Patrick Mailata.
Well, that's the experience that they wanted. They got it.
And Dan Kenobi, I'll come to you. How do you see this fight?
Hovnisian is going to come out with the victory, but man, did he earn it. Those middle rounds got a little tough for him in there. Shout out to Mailata, who found something in those 5th, 6th round, found something in that 6th especially. But what I liked from Hovnisian was what we saw over the final 6 minutes of the fight. Boxing, jabbing, getting that second win, showing that he has a lot more experience than Mailata. Hovnisian should win a decision here.
It was an action-packed fight from the rip. You saw Gergen Hovnisian tagging Patrick Mailata early. Thought maybe potentially he could get him out of there, but I must have forgot that the Isle of Samoa, they're built different, and Mailata came back with some big left hooks over and over, Flash.
Y'all must have forgot.
Y'all must have forgot.
We need Roy to show up. There's that left that staggered him in the 6th round. But what a bounce back from Hovnisian. I thought things were going to right. Yeah, that's one way to look at it. Right? You would know better than us. Like sometimes you get hit with a shot, you see a lot of fighters kind of wake up a little bit, or hit the canvas and their head pops up.
Yes. It's like you get hit, you get dizzy, and then you get hit, you go right back into it. It's like, oh, I'm back.
Sounds like your fight with Inoue.
I just never give up, that's all.
Well, listen, we came into this fight with the question mark around Big Goog just being, what happens in these fights as you mature. Obviously, a lot of eyes on him. But it looks like now we are going to get our official decision. So let's send it inside the ring with Dasha Correct.
After 8 rounds, we go to the judges' scorecards. Judge Tina Griffith scores this bout 76-76. Alexander Levin scores this bout 77-75. Judge James O'Connor scores this bout 77-75. Your winner by majority decision, Gergen Big Goog Hovnisian.
majority decision.
Yeah, one judge had it even. I don't really agree with that. Didn't see an even fight. I saw some good moments from Mayada and a very, very good performance from valiant performance, I should say.
But how many times do we talk about this on Most Valuable Prospects? You're getting fights where your A side and your B side are not too far apart here. And you're having the tests that you need if you're going to build into a high-level pro career, potentially world championship stuff. That's what you got out of Gerben Hovhannissian and Patrick Mailata.
That's what MVP is. It's even fights. We're going to see that for the rest of the evening.
And I think that, honestly, you know, maybe I'm speaking out of turn, I don't know, but you're starting to see the sport of boxing turn in that way, and I think that's because of what we're doing here at Most Valuable Prospects. But coming up next is the main event of our preliminary card. It is the WBA Continental USA Super Welterweight title. 8 rounds between Giovanni Estella and Joxan Blanco. And our tale of the tape, Estella 6 years younger than Blanco, but a couple of inches taller. And again, this will be for your WBA Continental USA Super Welterweight title. 8 rounds at 154 pounds. Let's get it to Dasha Garrett with our fighter introductions.
Making his way to the red corner from Orlando, Florida, by way of Caracas, Venezuela, Joxan El Tiburón Blanco.
Joxan Blanco. They're billing this as the battle for Orlando, both fighters residing here. But Blanco from Venezuela, very proud of his heritage. 7 wins, no losses, and 4 wins by knockout. A massive moment in his career tonight, and looking to take the next step forward here at 154 pounds. Can he get it done? We will find out.
And his opponent, making his way to the blue corner from Orlando, Florida, Giovanni El Rayo Estella.
And speaking of proud of their heritage, here comes the proud Puerto Rican Giovanni Estella. All of his family on hand, obviously a hometown favorite here in Orlando. The people came to see him. He looks sharp. He looks ready to go. And coming off a loss in his last one, 14 wins before that, looking to right the ship here in the main event of our preliminary card.
This 8-round bout is for the WBA Continental USA Super Welterweight Championship. It is brought to you by Celsius Live Fit Essential Energy. Let's meet our judges. First, we have Rodolfo Aguilar. Next, we have Tina Griffin. And last, Alexander Levin. Our referee for this bout is Michael De Jesus. Fighting to my left in the red corner, wearing light yellow with silver and white trim, at an official weigh-in of 153.2 pounds and an undefeated record of 7 victories, no losses, no draws, and 4 of those victories by knockout from Orlando, Florida, by way of Caracas, Venezuela, Joxan El Tiburón Blanco. And his opponent, In the blue corner, wearing white with red, white, and blue trim, with an official weigh-in of 153.6 pounds and a record of 14 wins, 1 loss, no draws, and 5 of those victories by knockout from Orlando, Florida, Giovanni El Rayo Estella.
If you go down and the referee started the count, if the bell comes at the same time, I command, non her, you know? Yeah. The bell is not saving you in any round.
Once again, folks, the main event of our preliminary card. In the blue corner, Giovanni Estella taking on Blanco. 8 rounds for the WBA Continental USA Super Welterweight title. Let's go.
Estella got a nice fan contingent here.
Oh yeah, Tito, by the way, right behind us, going absolutely nuts.
Oh yeah,
you love to see it.
Puerto Rican brother.
2 very young guys. Again, Nonito, Estella coming off a loss, so you have to right the ship a little bit. Talk about how you do that mentally as a fighter, especially after starting 14-0.
Right. You know, for him, he has to get past that. You know, and this is those moments that he has to pass. But you can see right now he's very he's using his talent a lot. So you know, earlier he just
look at that double jab right here for Jackson Blanco. And Dan, speak a little bit about that. Only his 8th fight here, stepping up in competition big time for Jackson Blanco.
Yeah, what I see so far, very athletic fighter. And just going back to Estella in that loss, Aaron McKenna is a really good prospect. Fought that all the way in Japan as well. So that was a tough night for Estella, but shout out to him for taking on such a tough test in McKenna, who he talks to a lot of boxing people. There's a lot of potential with McKenna.
You know, Jackson is really he has power in his punches.
Snappy shots right now coming out of Blanco.
You know, Blanco, he's very talented. You know, he got speed, he got power. Estella from his corner, you know, telling him to throw that jabs, to keep throwing that jab and the feints. And that's something that we haven't seen yet. He's a little bit wary. You know, perhaps it was what happened in the last fight that might still be in his head.
And you know what could settle him down is a right hand like that.
That was nice, and he got out of there too.
But my goodness, Jackson Blanco has taken absolute caution to the wind and throwing it out the window.
You can see the very nice there, where you can see the speed element right there. The speed advantage goes to Blanco.
He's throwing some heavy shots to start this first round.
And Estella, I think, needs to throw those jabs, even if he's not landing it.
And you know, he's throwing a lot of heavy shots, but you're not seeing a ton of energy expelled. It's very smooth with the way he's throwing. He's explosive, is Jackson Blanco, but you're not seeing him overemphasize some of those shots.
You know, he's very poised. He uses his muscles alignment, you know, when he throws those shots, and that's why, like you said, Wade, it doesn't look like he's putting effort, but you can tell that those punches are very explosive.
Showing a lot of looks right now on that front foot, doing exactly what you talk about, Nonito. A lot of feints with the feet, with the hands, with the head, everything from Jackson Blanco right now.
And that's why it's very difficult for Estella to really throw that jab, because he feels uncomfortable and vulnerable if he throws that jab because of Jackson moving his head and giving different looks.
Tough round to call right there.
Just about to say, that is a razor-thin type of round. You know, Estella landed some shots early, but Blanco didn't throw a lot of punches in that round, but he looked just more, how to say, but just more in the fight.
And when he landed, there was some damage. You could see it on the right eye of Estella right now already. A little bit of a mouth, some redness around that right eye. You can tell that the lightning is behind some of that thunder.
I'd probably give that first round to Blanco.
A lot of forward movement. Again, the damaging shots landed. But if you are in the corner of Giovanni Estella, like you talked about, Nonito, just shaking a little bit of those nerves, right? Getting that confidence back, and I think that first round could do it for him.
Right, and you know, if I was in that corner, I would tell him, you know, keep your hands up, but throw a lot of the things. Put that jab out there in his face, whether you land it or not, because that sets everything up. It stops his opponent, Jackson, from doing what he needs to do. And that's why Jackson is moving a lot with his head, which makes him very difficult to hit.
And Nonito, obviously, you are known for being more of a fast twitch fighter, a guy that really can just detonate. How, if you are Giovanni Estella, can you slow that down a little bit? Because that's what we're looking at in Jackson Blanco, a very high, fast twitch fiber guy. It looks like he has a ton of power in his hands.
It's very, very fast twitch for him, and that's why, you know, his style, when it lands, it's going to be very devastating. It's a similar thing for Jackson. But he is very, very quick when it comes out. A good counter punch, overhand right coming from Estella.
Estella looking for the openings. As Jackson comes forward and lands a big left hook and smiles at him like, gotcha. Matter of time, my goodness.
Both guys landing those big shots.
Blanco getting the better of that exchange, and now he's looking to really put some pressure on Giovanni Estella.
And I believe that Estella needs to keep those hands up, like I mentioned earlier. Good straight coming from Jackson.
The speed from Blanco and the athleticism that we're seeing early on. Blanco's got to be very, very careful. There it is, nice jab. In and out jab.
Big right hand there from Blanco, but Estella trying to get in and out.
It just feels like every time Blanco touches him or is supposed to touch him, it moves.
Estella very aware of that power for sure. You know, Nonito, we talk about the fast twitch fighter, we talk about the power, the speed. It's an 8-round fight. And if you are Estella, mouthpiece just popped out. If you are Estella here, it may be a bit of weathering the storm early on.
100%, and I think for him, he just needs to keep that hands up. But one thing I don't see that he should be doing is moving his head. Moving his head left and right, not be a target for Jackson, for Blanco.
Got the mouthpiece sorted here, and you see on our replay there, just a little bit of discombobulation causing the mouthpiece to fly out, but we're back going.
Flying all over the place tonight.
Luckily, Nonito didn't have to jump up with a Superman cape and grab that one.
I was about to. Now to get out of there.
Yeah.
Estella needs to get out of there. Keep his hands up. He cannot be trapped in there. That's where Blanco has a lot of force. Good straight right hand coming from Blanco.
And again, Estella walks himself into the corner. Probably not the place you want to be with a power puncher in front of you. Jabs his way out. Starting to slide on the ropes is Giovanni Estella. Seems to be confident though there.
He's fighting on his back foot though, and we're not seeing a lot of punches land in this fight so far. What we are seeing is Blanco putting pressure on Estella, and the judges like pressure. If you go down the list of the criteria, if you're not going to see clean, effective punches, not going to see ring generalship, you need to see pressure. And that's been Blanco so far.
Round 2 in the books. And you saw a concerted effort almost there from Giovanni Estella to stay on the ropes, to stay in the corner. Can you tell me why you would maybe want to do that?
Well, because with Blanco's power and the way he's pressing forward, he's trapping Estella there. He's putting Estella in that corner, and you know, Estella is very wary of Blanco's power that he holds on to it. You know, he doesn't want to get countered.
We talked about this just a second ago. If you are in the corner of Estella with such an electric fighter in front of you like Jackson Blanco, that storm is going to be quick and it's going to be heavy in these first rounds. As you see the left hook there land almost on the throat of Giovanni Estella, and a big smirk there from Jackson Blanco. The game plan may just be, listen, these first 3 rounds is going to be hell. Let's get through it and then really turn the tide of this fight. We'll see here.
Blanco is very confident going in here that he has the better skill and better power over Estella.
But he's not dominating by any means. There's not a lot of landed shots. So Estella's not out of this fight at all. If I was his corner, that's what I would be telling him. It's like, you're in this fight.
Yeah.
You know, Blanco, from him, I just need to see more flurries, more anything. Like, put together some combinations. You have the speed.
To your point, Dan, the corner of Estella is very confident right now. They feel their fighter is doing exactly what they want them to do. And now you're starting to see potentially Estella picking up on a bit of the timing of Blanco.
And that's what Estella needs to do, is throw those jabs,
There's a right hand from Estella.
And throw the feints, throw the jabs. Be the first person to punch.
And what you're seeing from Jackson Blanco, too, is a lot of straight line attacks. As he tries to back up Estella. Keep him in the corner here. Here's Blanco walking forward, looking for his shot.
He's got him in the corner, but he's not letting his hands go.
Uppercut, not quite there from Blanco. Estella trying to use his feet, use those feints you were talking about. Flash, and both guys looking to land there, not quite home for either fighter.
Interesting little exchange there. Nothing really landed for either guy.
A chess game in this third round. Both guys playing. And look at that, Estella sits down on her right hand.
Got him on the neck.
Here comes Blanco again. Looking to push back Estella and land some big shots.
Good double jab coming from Estella. Now, if he does that again and throw it to the body, I think that's a different dynamic that he would make Blanco think.
We talked about it in round one. I think we're starting to see the confidence rise of Giovanni Estella. That he's in there with a puncher, but he's a puncher. And he's starting to get that time in with Jackson Blanco. And be out of range, and then come back and land with his own, but he gets clipped there with a right hand from Blanco.
I want to see if that's enough to win a round, though. Blanco's just not letting his hands go enough. Estella's throwing more punches in this round.
And he's landing those shots too, especially those jabs.
That should be enough to win the round. Estella, good
combination from Blanco, though, here in the corner. Estella,
that's right.
A beautiful counter right hand on the end of that.
Now we have a fight.
20 seconds here in this third round. And a better round by far for both fighters. Volume going up.
It's now Estella.
Body shot there from Estella.
Center of the ring, leading these exchanges. That's a very, very good sign for Estella.
Blanco tries to chase him down, but a great round there in round three for Giovanni Estella. And like I said, you know, I keep going back to this because I think it's such an important factor. How you respond to adversity in this game is so crucial. In that first round, and even in the second, you saw Blanco, you know, trying to sun Giovanni Estella, especially after that left hook to the throat. And Estella, with the mindset coming off a loss, having to convince himself and having to push himself past all that. He did it in round three, and it looks like it's starting to have an effect.
Yeah, and I believe that, you know, like you said, Wade, it's those little thoughts that stops him from performing. But because he was able to get this round, I think that it's going to be a momentum. That's what he needs, is just continue the momentum. Good counter punch. They were going at it.
They were sitting down on shots, and if you're in the corner of Jackson Blanco, you know, we've talked a lot about Estella and what he can be doing differently. But Blanco obviously throwing some shots here and there, Dan, but just not enough volume so far.
I want to see more out of him. I think he's super athletic, and when he does throw, it's blinding. It's just not enough.
Is that the trade-off you get, Nonito, with a guy that's as fast and as strong and as powerful as a guy like Blanco, that the volume's just not always going to be there?
No, you know, with Blanco, he likes the time, and that's what's stopping him. And, you know, I'm the same way in that aspect because I want to land those big shots. And it can be a detriment when you get a guy who's a puncher, a volume puncher.
We've seen some fighters, you know, at the highest level get away with it. Obviously, Tank Davis, one of the lowest volume punchers in the game, and somehow finds the button. But, Dan, when you're looking at Blanco, I don't know if you can afford to be that at this level as he starts to take off there.
It's a very dangerous game that I would not recommend. There's not a lot of trainers out there or coaches that would teach you that. To throw 15, 20 punches around like Gervonta Davis does, you just will give away rounds.
I'll tell you what, no one looking to give away this fourth round as both fighters are stepping on the gas here.
It's Estella that's making a concerted effort,
you know,
to land stuff.
Stella's feint is actually working.
Yep.
And that's what he needs to do. Double jab just exactly like that and take control from there. Because if Blanco is looking for those big shots, he's always going to get caught with those feints and jabs.
Nice up jab there from Jackson Blanco. Catches Estella on the end of it. Looks to walk him down, but Giovanni Estella with the double jab and the right hand behind it.
Again with the feint, stops and holds Blanco.
Jab and the right hand to the body from Blanco. Good defense there from Jackson Blanco as the right hand came in from Estella. And both fighters looking to pick their shots. And again, we've seen this in multiple rounds now, where both stand in that pocket. And
good overhand
right hand there
from Estella.
Estella, both fighters standing in that pocket, feinting, looking for that opening, and finally one finds it.
In a round with not a lot of connected punches, it may come down to singular moments. And Estella had a really nice overhand right there that might be able to steal him this round.
But he's throwing those jabs as well, and I believe that he's taking control of the fight because of those jabs. As much as
you could put a cemented it though with that right hand.
Right. Yes. As much as Blanco.
That's where you don't want to be. As Blanco, let's go. Mouthpiece goes out again.
I guess I gotta go grab it now, right?
No, don't go in there. That's number 3 of the night if you're counting at home.
And this is right after Jackson Blanco lands a beautiful right hand.
Hey, stay over there. Time.
Where you want to capitalize on that momentum. Unfortunately, the mouthpiece comes out.
Taking their sweet time, too. Love that. It's an old
tactic.
Trick, yeah, a little tactic. Get your fighter up.
That's right.
Moments.
That's right. Again, the jab needs to be implemented. A good overhand.
Look at this. The round ends with some big-time combinations from both fighters.
Maybe extend that round one more minute. Some things we're about to heat up against next round.
And if I look over into the corner of Jackson Blanco, he is getting told off by his head coach right now.
They're very loud over there. Both corners are very animated.
You remember the legend Tito Trinidad and his dad? Smack, 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 smack.
Yeah. And sometimes you know your fighter better than anybody else.
That's right.
And sometimes that's exactly what they need. And honestly, for Jackson Blanco, it may need to be wake-up call time, because as these rounds go on, Giovanni Estella is putting himself in a great position round after round. Dan, how do you
got it? 2 rounds apiece. I thought Blanco won the first 2 rounds. I thought Estella won the last 2 rounds. Did like what I saw from Blanco in the final 5 seconds of that 4th round, where he actually let his hands go. So maybe he'll do that here in round number 5. I'm talking about Blanco. But I think this is a dead even fight.
Great fight here for the WBA Continental USA Super Welterweight title. Round 5 underway.
Again, Estella needs to keep that jab. One thing that Blanco has stopped doing was moving his head. It was very difficult for him to get hit. I mean, to hit.
Big swing and a miss there from both fighters once again. Looking for absolute haymakers when they close the distance.
Yeah, I think that's the biggest difference now between Blanco is he stopped moving his head like he did early on.
Right hand there from Blanco lands clean. Giovanni Estella avoided the first 2, could not avoid the 3rd. And now look to land some big shots coming forward is Jackson Blanco.
Blanco is having a really good start to this round. Good things happen when you let your hands go, Flash.
Yep. That is very true. It's better to give than to receive.
Triple jab there. Giovanni Estella on the right hand. Now Jackson Blanco looking to throw some short shots inside.
Well, his coach got on him. And like you said, he might be the one that needs to fire him up.
Blanco's come out in this round and he's on his front foot. He's bringing the fight to Estella, and you can see Estella a little more timid in this round. Not be able to handle the pressure.
That right hand,
Hail Mary.
That was a fastball off the mound. Jackson Blanco.
Good jab coming from Estella. Again, I think
nice right hand Estella as well.
Yes. Estella needs to use those feints. Good shots for both guys.
Back and forth combination here on the ropes. Both fighters land in combination from Blanco.
Big Blanco round.
Short right hand there as well to end that combination.
Blanco is definitely throwing a lot of leather.
An action-packed 5th round here.
Estella doesn't have an answer. He doesn't know kind of how to combat the aggressiveness of Blanco in this round. If I'm Blanco, just keep, this is what you got to do. This is the game plan. This is the blueprint to win.
You see a little bit of a deep breath there from Giovanni Estella, trying to calm himself in this fire. We talked about it. You knew it was coming. Jackson Blanco really putting the pressure on and wings a right hand there. It wasn't as accurate as he'd like it to be, but still. And a turn of the clinch from Estella. Can he keep Blanco in this corner? Gets to the body there.
It's not enough. That's the only offense I've seen in this round from Estella.
Jab right hand Estella, and here comes Blanco on the return.
Well, now he has to change his own style again because Blanco changed his style.
Last 10 seconds, we saw both fighters tee off, and it looks like we may see it again here in these last few.
Good body shots from Estella.
And another action-packed round there. Flash, I would say Jackson Blanco really turned up the heat in round 5 and potentially turned the tide back a little bit in this fight.
And he had taken the momentum coming from Estella. Now he has his momentum, and he's throwing those punches. Just the change of style or rhythm, you know, had Estella confused.
As we head into this 6th round, I would see Estella in the last round taking some big punches and staying in that pocket. I would assume that you maybe want to get back to what we did well in the first part of the fight and utilize that footwork and utilize some of that outside movement, because standing in the pocket with Blanco, Dan, it's a tough thing to ask.
Estella got bullied in that round. Blanco came out and he looked possessed.
Look at that mouse under the right eye.
Blanco didn't land too much in that round, but he came aggressive and he came forward, and I had him winning that round. So right now it's 3-2 on my unofficial scorecard for Blanco.
The Dan Canobio card, as they call it.
It's the best card there is. We don't need these judges.
Here we are in round 6. As Jackson Blanco gets on that front foot right away once again.
It's another thing too, if you know, there's not a lot of punches being landed in this fight, Flesh. The ring generalship, which is a criteria for judges, it's Blanco controlling the action.
But you can tell that these guys are similar in style, and they know exactly how to counter, how to hit. And that's why they are very, I guess what we call a chess match.
That was a bit of a clumsy right hand, but somehow got through from Jackson Blanco there on the counter. But a nice jab from Estella to back off some of that pressure. And the left hook to punctuate it. Gets a smile out of Blanco, like, yeah, you got me there. Blanco once again trying to walk forward. Estella, again, happy to take that back foot right now.
You're taking the back foot and you're not landing, you're not going to win rounds.
Again, combinations from both fighters swinging. Some shots landing in between for both guys. Referee warns Estella about the push there inside. Keep those gloves for punching, not pushing, Dan. And again, Flash, you see Estella not really trying to get out of this corner, like accepting that position. And again, I can understand the thought process. Walk him onto a counter shot.
That's correct. You know, and sometimes because the other guy has power, Blanco has the power, you know, and both guys, again, they know in this level, if they make a mistake, it's end for them.
Short right hand there from Blanco.
Another good round from Blanco when it comes to aggression.
The nice left hook, but a straight right hand from both fighters there. Overhand from Estella landed, and a straight right from Blanco landed.
Estella knows that this fight could be slipping away a little bit. In this final minute, he's kind of holding his ground there and also firing off the ropes.
Nice left hand to the body of Estella.
That dug it. I heard that through the headset.
Definitely big change for Blanco, throwing more punches as they get closer to each other.
Obviously a super passionate corner here in the blue side for Giovanni Estella. Coach is imploring him to bring it in these last 15 seconds of round number 6.
From Estella, which he needs to do more.
Jab right hand, Estella. Oh,
Good
what a big right hand from Blanco. My goodness.
Good right hand from Blanco. That might have taken it.
Yeah, that's a Blanco round. More aggression, landing shots there, starting to find some real momentum here as we head into the final 2 rounds. Estrella had moments too, it just wasn't enough.
That right hand from Blanco had some sizzle and it had the steak. My goodness. I felt the wind off that right here.
He's opening up more, Blanco. He obviously has the speed. We saw that early on in this fight. Just want to see him put those combinations together. And he's been doing that.
You know, at least for me, a potential worry when you see a guy as fast twitch, you see him as explosive as Jackson Blanco is, you worry about, you know, getting into the later part of that fight. Do you carry that speed? Do you carry that power? And are you able to just continue punching in volume? And he's been able to do it. And actually, I would say his volume has gone up as we've gone through the fight, for sure.
His volume has gone up.
Yeah, for sure.
But every time that he puts volume, his power diminishes. You know, and if he turns into power, he lacks the volume.
It's a tough trade-off and a catch-22 for Jackson Blanco and for Giovanni Estella. At some point, you'd have to think he's going to have to stay on that front foot and not get backed into these situations where his back's against the ropes or he's in the corner.
Good kind of right hand. Oh, good right uppercut coming from Blanco.
Blanco steps in with a nasty uppercut and the left hook behind it. Taps the head, now the body shots.
He's taking big punishment here. That was a chopping left hand.
Jab to the body, Blanco. Left hook, right hand. He's sitting down on punches. But Estella, once again, firing off the jab and looking to counter. Now Estella tries to work his way out of the corner. Eats a right hand for his troubles.
Counter by Blanco. Blanco is very confident now by being the first guy to attack.
Goes to the body there. Tries to set up the big overhand. Estella hit to it this time around. And then a nice roll right hand there from Blanco. Catches it on the shoulder and lets it fly.
Good right body shot coming from Blanco.
And it does feel like right now it's Jackson Blanco's very slick defense is neutralizing a lot of what you're seeing from Giovanni Estella. And not only that, you see the combinations and the counters off of it. Giovanni Estella having some trouble here in round 7.
And that's the difference with Blanco is when he's inside, he's just throwing those punches. You know, he's not waiting anymore. He's not trying to land those big shots. But when he's out there, he tries to land those big shots. But when he's in there, he has the volume, which a great adjustment for him.
It's a nice right hand. Giovanni Estella follows it up with the jab. But Dan, I think he's going to need a little more.
Yeah, he hasn't mounted much of an offense over the last 3 or 4 rounds. Because Blanco is just not letting him.
He's another right hand.
He's the aggressor, Blanco.
Estella trying to figure out this puzzle in front of him. Jackson Blanco just not willing to take a back step. Instead throws a combination and punctuates it with a right hand. Three-punch combo there from Estella. The third one not as accurate as he'd like, but works the body. "16 seconds here in round number 7.
Almost seems like a little bit of the will of Estella has been taken out and zapped a little bit. Where Blanco seems just a more confident fighter right now.
Oh, short right hand just misses from Blanco. And it could just be, you know, a matter of question and answer for Giovanni Estella right now. He may have a lot of questions, just not a lot of answers for what Jackson Blanco is doing. And Onito, when we do go into this last and final round, it's you have to wonder if you are in the corner of Estella, what do you do differently? Do you have to put it all on the line? You have to stay on that front foot at any means necessary at this point?
Ladies and
Well, that depends on how they look at the fight. If they think that Giovanni's winning, they're gonna make him run or box. But if they think that he is losing this fight, he needs to just give it all you got. And it shows whether Estella has the heart for it, you know. But he needs to, at least with you, Dan, right? He needs to knock a good straight right hand coming from Blanco.
Dan, what are you seeing as we head into this final round?
I got Blanco winning the last 3 rounds. Just off of aggression. But Estella, he's just not landing. I haven't seen him landing anything of note over the last 9 minutes of this fight.
Our 8th and final round here in our main event of the preliminary card for the WBA Continental USA Super Welterweight title.
I think Giovanni needs to press it, keep that hands up, and set everything up with the jab.
I wasn't able to listen into the corner there between rounds, Nonito, but could there be a little confusion as to how this fight is going from either side? To us, it does look like it's Joxin Blanco, but maybe they don't see that. I don't know.
Well, I think they do, because they're telling him to dig deeper and go for it.
That is the advice you'd want to have, especially after the last couple of rounds for Joxin Blanco, as he looks to, again, set up a big right hand. Just missed with that one in the corner. Estella tries to turn the momentum here. There's a left hook from Blanco and a jab behind it. And he continues to move forward. And my lord, when he wants to counter, he lets it all go. That right hand is like a missile.
There's no real urgency from Estella. Moving around the ring. He's not looking for that one shot. Blanco needs to step on the gas pedal as well. Because like you said, Wade, I think that Blanco's winning this fight. A lot of those the first 3 rounds were pretty even.
Some shots there from Estella, even with his back on the ropes, able to land some effective striking there.
So I am a little surprised with the lack of urgency from either fighter. Final round here.
Last minute change, nice step in, little shovel hook there from Estella. Off the lead hand, and again uppercut left hook, Estella. And a right hand, and now Blanco tries to get it back in blood. Great sequence there, though, from Giovanni Estella.
Yeah, the difference between, or what Giovanni Estella needs to do is throw this combination, come out. You know, because Blanco is just sitting there and waiting for him until that distance comes in.
It looks like the adjustment from Estella has been to go to the uppercut off the backhand, as the overhands just haven't found a home much in this fight. So he has looked at the uppercut, and it's landed a couple times here, Flash.
And the body shot, too, as well. That stops Blanco from throwing his right hand because of that body shot.
Looks for the left hook there off the back foot. Here comes Blanco. And now Estella with some harder shots off the counter. 18 seconds left. And Dan, you talked about some urgency. You're seeing it in the last minute here.
Will it be enough? Will it be enough for Estella?
Last few seconds. In our 8th and final round, both fighters swing. And that'll be the end of it as we go the distance here in our preliminary main event. Some respect shown between the combatants. You love to see that. And a hard-fought bout at 154 pounds between Giovanni Estella and Joxin Blanco. All right, Dan, I'm gonna bring it to you. I'm gonna bring it to your front door, Canobio. What do you think?
I have it 5 rounds to 3 for Blanco. I thought he won the first 2 rounds. He won those 5, 6, and 7 with a lot of urgency and a lot of aggressiveness. Estella won the final round on my card. It's going to be close. There's just not a lot of punches landed in this fight for my liking. That's just my liking. But I do believe that Blanco will win this fight.
Dan loves punches landed. Don't we all, folks?
That's why we're here, right?
Nonito, how do you see this fight as we get this decision? Are you agreeing with Dan Canobio, a 5-3 to Blanco? Where do you differ? What do you think?
Yeah, I think I agree with that because he, Blanco was the one that tried to make the fight. I thought early on, Estella was very confident in landing this good stuff, but although it was a close round.
Well, Nonito, let's find out as we have our decision in. Let's send it to Dasha Corrette with our official
Go
decision.
to the judges' scorecard. Judge Rodolfo Aguilar scores this bout 76-76. Tina Griffith scores this bout 75-77. Alexander Levin scores this bout 75-77. Your winner by majority decision and the new WBA Continental USA Super Welterweight Champion, Joxan El Tiburon Blanco.
Your winner by majority decision and moving it to 8-0, Joxan Blanco. He takes home the WBA Continental USA Super Welterweight title. And folks, tonight's main card is still to come. And leading off our card is a 4-round middleweight matchup between prospects Tamara Tebow and Natasha Spence. A 10-round matchup at the heavyweight division between Perro and Burns. Juana Walton, Eric Hindley. And again, don't miss that interim World Bantamweight Championship.